panoramic view of Jhamarkotra rock phosphate mine. Again a view of the entire park with lot of trees. Beautiful stromatolite.
So we are about 22 kilometers southeast of Udaipur city, which is a famous city in Rajasthan, a very well-known place. And this place is called Jhamarkotra, which is well within the Aravalli mountains. If you see around, these are all Aravalli mountains, and this place is unique in terms of Indian mineral industry. That is the only rock phosphate mine in India, and the rock phosphate that comes or that's mined is mined from this particular rock, which is called the rock phosphate ore. And this is a very, very, very unique and very special rock. And you see, it has got two components physically separable. One is these projected. Of course, this is a linear. You can see this is a transfer this section here, and this you see these projections here. These are phosphate rich, and the gray part here in between these is the ground mass, which is carbonate, and it is in geological parlance it's called dolomite. So that's why this is called a dolomitic rock phosphate, the rock itself. And since these two components are different in composition, their response to the weathering is different, and the phosphate is more resistant. So that's why it is seen as projections while the ground mass has been removed. And this phosphate-rich part forms the ore or the rock phosphate, which is a very important fertilizer mineral. So now coming how they are formed and why they are occurring only at this place is something. For this we have to go back to the history of this place, and the estimated age of these rocks is about 1,700 million years, and that way they represent one of the earliest forms of life on the earth. But as we know that the life started slowly and then erupted at the Precambrian boundary, which is about 540 million years from now. But important thing is how the life how did the life originate on this planet? I can share with you that we have the evidence that the Earth's atmosphere initially was lacking in oxygen, and oxygen is very important for life. Life cannot sustain or survive without oxygen. And oxygen came much later. The Earth was formed about 460 billion years, 4.6 billion years from now. And the atmosphere, the oxygen started coming in the atmosphere much later, about 2.2 to 2.3 billion years from now. And slowly it started accumulating, and today we have this Earth at oxygen levels going up to 21%. So that was the initial part of the availability of oxygen. And these algae, which we are all well know about algae. On the green stuff that you see on standing waters, they are all type of algae. So this is one of the varieties of algae which formed in the sea. And you will be surprised that the place where we are standing now was a huge ocean at that time. And this algae was formed and this flourished during that time, and it supplied the oxygen that ultimately supported the life on this earth. And these algae, they grow vertically towards a sea, from a sea that they grow vertically up towards the sun, and they're very sensitive to sunlight. So they are found only in the region where sunlight can penetrate, roughly about say 25 meters depth. So that again is a very important indication, and they provide you an information what was the boundary between ocean and the continent that time.
Case here in the lower forms we get phosphate bands where there is no role of cyanobacteria or the chemobacteria, but as we come up in the formation then we see the stromatolite, and here it is allochthonous, we can say. The lower one is in the allochthonous, which is coming from the deeper part of the sea and getting deposited. But in this case, the reaction was taking place, and the phosphate is within the laminae.
So the most important part so this is a very rare occurrence of stromatolitic limestone or the dolomitic limestone in India. And unfortunately or fortunately, or whatever you can call, that it is being mined for rock phosphate, which is important fertilizer mineral and used as fertilizer in agriculture. So these stromatolitic rocks have been preserved here, away from the mining area, for study purpose, and for the future generations. And we owe a lot to our existence owes a lot to these structures, which are not able to see anything, but they just kind of crying to support them and to preserve them. And so it's our duty that they need to be preserved for students, for people, for everybody in the mission. We have a responsibility to make people aware that how important they have been in our existence. Without them, we would not have been surviving.